こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、リーズユナイテッドの田中碧に関する動画です。リーズユナイテッドは、プレミアリーグ第15節で、遠藤航擁するリバプールと対戦し、シーソーゲームの上、3対3の引き分けをもぎ取りました。田中碧は、アディショナルタイムの96分に、劇的同点弾をぶち込んで、この試合のヒーローとなりました。今回はワンリーズチャンネルのレビュー動画から、田中碧が途中出場して、どれだけ試合を変えたのかを話しつつ、劇的同点ゴールは簡単なシュートではなかったこと、今後の試合でも田中碧を先発で使われないといけないと強く主張しています。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。But he did go to a 4 in the second half. Obviously, we saw BO come off, and unbelievably, it worked. And that's the pragmatism that we want with Farke. Change systems. Liked it. I'd have liked to have seen Tanaka on from the start. And I think you saw when he came on in that second half, I do wonder if he was actually injured or if Farke is just going for that conservative approach because he's respecting Liverpool. And we saw a similar thing against Arsenal, for just as an example. And I thought, but you have to have Tanaka in there. You have to have Tanaka in there from now on. He has to be in there. He has to be in that midfield. From a quality standpoint, he came off the bench, had a strike at goal. It was well saved. I think just when you've got that midfield three and you've got 3 6s, I'm not sure it works. I think you need to have some sort of innovators in that midfield. And I think when he came on, it sort of all changed. But I would have gone with Tanaka from the start. You guys all know that with the predicted lineup the other day. But I think Farke will come out and say it was maybe because he was trying to manage an injury. But I do wonder, maybe if I'm just being a tiny bit speculative, and I could be wrong, of course. And I've been wrong plenty of times before. I do wonder whether or not Farke's just gone for a little bit of a conservative midfield there, which we've seen before. I don't really think that worked. I don't think he got the best out of Stack as well. And obviously, you're kind of seeing the same print with Gruev that we normally see. I think Gruev coming on is where you want Gruev. You want Gruev coming on, as we saw in the Chelsea game, where he comes on, maybe stabilises things a little bit, just keeps it ticking over. But Farke went to a 4, and I thought Leeds just... I thought when those subs were made on like the 60th minute, but I thought as soon as we went to a back 4, Willie came on. Obviously, Aronson came on. We're going to talk about him as well. Aronson came on. Tanaka came on. Changed the game. And you've got to give him credit. You've got to give Daniel Farke credit. 100%. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Think he nailed it in the Chelsea game. This won't get spoke of when it comes to me because we know it won't. It's, so Farke out. You got to give him credit where credit is due, and that's where I'll be fair. 100%. Nailed it. Nailed it in the Chelsea game. Nailed the intensity. We nailed set pieces. Really used the Ellen Road factor, and we came into it there. I thought Willie came on, made a massive difference. Obviously, the 4 at the back, he clearly knows that now when you bring Aronson on and Nonto on, you're probably going to have to switch to a back 4. You're going to have to do it because in a 3-5-2, where do you put Willie? Pause. Where do you put Willie and where do you put Aronson? Aronson in a midfield 3? I'm not sure. But Aronson up front? I don't think so. Nonto, I'll be honest with you guys as well. When you're looking at Nonto and you may be looking at Okafor today as well, I think as a front 2, you probably have to have 2 big men on. But I thought Farke did a really, really good job tonight. A really good job. And then Leeds get the equaliser. You never think that that's just like a tap-in or whatever from Tanaka. That is outrageously good. To just drill the ball into the ground with your left foot under pressure like that is so hard to do. And it felt like the cop dragged that in. And that's a moment, people. That is a moment you'll always remember against Liverpool. Leeds have got a turgid record against Liverpool at Ellen Road. Since I've been... Jesus Christ. I mean, ever since we played Liverpool, we've been mauled or we've been beaten well. It feels every single time. The Viduka 4 was very rare for Leeds at Ellen Road. I think we actually got a better record at Anfield. You look back at late 90s with Smith and etc. David Hopkin, and then, you look at, obviously, the Crysencio Somerville goal and all this sort of stuff, but we probably got, and then you look at early noughties when you see the Rio Ferdinand goal down there, and we've got a draw, but we've probably got a better record at Anfield than we have at flipping Ellen Road. So to get something, and, I'm so proud of him tonight, because you're going up against a top 10. I don't care how out of form they are, and I was mentioning it on the watch along. I don't care how out of form they are. I'm not bothered. They are the champions of this country, of the best league in the world. They're the champions. Isak, Salah, McAllister, Endo off the bench. Gomez off. I said on a tweet on Wednesday night, I said that Chelsea bench is probably the best bench I've ever seen. Honestly, recent memory. Obviously, I know we've been in the Championship and all this sort of stuff. But that bench Liverpool had was just outrageous. Chiesa, another one, just on the bench. So to come out and to get a result against that as a newly promoted side, unbelievable. Ian says, Ao Tanaka is the greatest Japanese import since Nintendo, Toyota. Toyota's a great shout. Days of Dad says, we have to sort out tactics straight after halftime. It screwed us on too many occasions. Could have been a 3-1 win. Tanaka has to start every game. Completely agree with that, mate. Come on, Connor, give none to... Okay, sorry, Dino. Sorry, Dino's pulling me up. Sorry, Dino. Brilliant substitution. The fact that he went to it felt like a 4-2-3-1, could have been a 4-3-3, included Nonto. Nonto was dragging the right back out. He was dragging the right back out. Aronson was picking up the pockets in front of their defence, so it was dragging Canate out. That was the problem. That's why we were finding that space, because Nonto was dragging the right back out, and then you got Aronson just in and around that centre-back dragging him out. It's exactly what we needed. Then the pockets were being filled by the likes of Peru when he came on, Stack, Tanaka. Tanaka, you can't keep him off the bench. You can't keep him on the bench. You can't. And that's the one thing with Farke. We know that he can be conservative sometimes. We know that. You've got to start Tanaka every game. Have to. Course I chose a City game to go out for these three. Yeah. Con, do you think we could switch from a 3 to 4 at the back and vice versa if one doesn't work first half? Chaz, I think the principles, I like a back 3 because I like Beale. And I've liked the defending. Liverpool tactically, I think, got it spot on in that first half. Spot on in that first half by neutralising the wing-backs. Neutralising our wing-backs. That was the problem. And you can't then go long because you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin up against Canate and Van Dijk. I think that's going to be quite rare because you're not going to get two players as dominant aerially as Canate and Van Dijk. I don't think that will happen. So if you were to put Okafor and Metcher or DCL up there, I think the dynamics of that will be different against different teams. My point back to that, Chaz, is you've got to start winning those second balls. In that first half, we weren't close to the strikers enough for me. There was too much isolation. So we were too bothered about what Liverpool were doing instead of playing our game. And I think that's where Tanaka would have picked up that role as the number 8. Because Stack wasn't doing it enough for me. So you've got to pick up that role. So if that ball falls, you've got to be the first one on it. And that's what I thought we're missing in the first half. It was like Dominic was isolated again because Okafor was just that far away from him. There was no point in it. It was like the old days of Farke, against Villa and Brighton and Forest, where it was just DCL up against 2-3 centre backs. Can't happen. You got to get close. But in answer to your question, I think there's got to be a bit of pragmatism there, Chaz. And the thing is, it's unpredictable, Chaz. It's unpredictable, mate. You go into that game and then now thinking, well, Enzo said it. Enzo Maresca said it. I don't think Daniel Farke, he's played 200 times for Norwich in a back 4. He's never played in a back 3 for Leeds United. Never played a back 3. Then we play a back 3. They set up for a back 4, Chelsea. 100%. Trevor Chalobah at right back. There's no way they've set up there for a 3 at the back. No way. So then you're looking at the Liverpool game, and probably Arne Slot's giving himself a couple of questions. Well, what's he going to do now? What's he going to do? As long as Daniel Farke has said several times about the base principles, as long as the base principles are to bypass the press and to not build out from the back, and we go long, we go direct to the centre forwards or into the attacking players and beyond the press. If we do that, if that's the base principles, we can go to a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, or a 3-5-2. That's what you can do. But I think Leeds United would profit more from a 3-5-2 because every other team has a better technical level than us. Probably 16 teams have a better technical level than us. Obviously, they've all been in the Premier League for so long. And I think Leeds United are going to have to defend a lot. I think every team will get chances against Leeds. But I think it's all about, a Metro being back is going to be huge.
次は解説です。今回は珍しい表現もいくつかありましたので、早速本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。To just drill the ball into the ground.
ドゥルは本来ドリルで穴を開けるという意味ですが、サッカーでは力強く打ち込むというニュアンスで使われます。ドゥル the ball into the ground は地面に叩きつけるようにボールを蹴ることを指し、 バウンドを利用してゴールを狙う高度なテクニックです。特にゴール前で冷静にこのようなシュートを打てる選手は、技術と判断力の両方が高いと言えます。文脈によっては、パスやクリアの場面でも使われることがあります。英語圏の実況や解説でよく出てくる表現なので、サッカー好きの方はぜひ覚えておきたいフレーズです。
To just drill the ball into the ground. To just drill the ball into the ground. Leeds have got a turgid record.
タージッドは文脈によって意味が大きく変わる単語です。一つ目の意味は、文や話し方が分かりにくく、冗長でもったいぶっているという場合で、特に文学作品や学術的な話に使われます。二つ目は、物理的にパンパンに膨らんでいる状態を指し、水や体の組織などによく使われます。またサッカーの文脈で、タージットパフォーマンスといえば、精彩を欠くプレーのことであり、退屈で盛り上がりに欠けるという意味でも使われます。使い分けに注意が必要な単語です。
Leeds have got a turgid record. Leeds have got a turgid record. We've been mauled or we've been beaten well.
モールはとても強い暴力的な意味を持つ動詞で、もともとは動物が人や他の動物を引っかいたり噛んだりして傷つけることを指します。スポーツの文脈では比喩的に使われ、大差でボコボコに負けるや、相手に圧倒されるといった意味になります。この場面のように、リバプールに完全にやられたというような悔しさや屈辱を含んだ表現になります。感情がこもった言い回しなので、ネイティブスピーカーが試合を熱く語るときによく登場します。
We've been mauled or we've been beaten well. We've been mauled or we've been beaten well. But we've probably got, and then you look at early noughties.
ノーティーズは2000年から2009年までの10年間を表す言葉で、特にイギリス英語でよく使われます。ノーティはゼロを意味し、90s などと同様の構成で作られた俗語です。アメリカでは The 2000s という表現が一般的なので、イギリス系のメディアを学習する際に知っておくと便利です。主に音楽、ファッション、サッカー、政治など、その時代を語るときに使われます。日本語でいう0年代とほぼ同じ感覚です。
But we've probably got, and then you look at early noughties. But we've probably got, and then you look at early noughties. Then we have at flipping Ellen Road. So
フリピンは怒りや驚き、イライラなどの感情を柔らかく表現したいときに使われる口語的な単語です。イギリス英語では特に一般的で、いわゆる F ワードの代わりに使うことで、感情を込めつつも下品にならない表現ができます。例えば、フリピンヘオは、畜生、なんてこったのように訳されます。子供や職場でも使えるソフトなスラングとして覚えておくと便利です。強くは言いたいけど、悪口は避けたい。そんな時に使える便利な言葉です。
then we have at flipping Ellen Road. So then we have at flipping Ellen Road. So, oh, sorry, Dino's pulling me up.
pull someone up は、人に対して注意するや、咎めるといった意味を持つ口語表現です。特にイギリス英語でよく使われ、誰かがルールを破ったり、間違ったことをした時に、ちょっと待って、それはダメだよと軽く指摘するような時に使います。尖ったり、叱責するというより、丁寧に注意するイメージです。ネイティブの会話やインタビュー、サッカーなどのスポーツ実況でもよく使われるので、意味を知っておくと英語理解の幅が広がります。
Oh, sorry, Dino's pulling me up. Oh, sorry, Dino's pulling me up.
いかがでしたか？田中碧が途中出場したのは、0対2と2点リードされていた状況で、攻めに行かないといけなかった中で、直接的に点に絡んだわけではなかったですが、攻撃には流動性が加わり、田中碧がボールに触れながら、ボールをチップ出しながらチームを前進させ、すぐにペナルティを取って1点を返せば、そこからまた間もないタイミングで2点目を取り、2対2に追いつきました。さらに極め付けは、アディショナルタイムの劇的同点弾であり、田中碧が入ったことで、少なくとも攻撃が間違いなく活性化されているため、ただ守るだけでない限り、田中碧がこのチームの攻撃の中心のように期待されることは、もはや当然のようにも感じます。リバプールの3点目は、田中碧が前線の高い位置でプレスをしたことによって、中盤に空けてしまったスペースを使われたことによって、ファルカもその点に怒っていたようですし、そのあたりはまた成長の余地があるのだ、と思いますが、それも含めて期待と楽しみしかありません。次戦は、少し順位も近いブレントフォードとの対戦になるので、田中碧が先発して、勝利が取れることを楽しみにして、応援したいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。